there you are. Hi.
Hey.
Look at your
What's
long
up?
hair. You look great.
Dude, I know.
You look very fit, and I love your long.
Thank you.
You look so much healthier than the last time I saw you.
Bro, you're not lying about that.
I mean, you did not
Thank you.
actually look bad, but right now you look a lot thicker.
Yes, thicker than a Snicker, as they say. There's something to that for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
definitely
definitely.
didn't get crack skinny this
No,
time,
you
but it's just
definitely
like,
didn't. You definitely didn't. You just
no.
look better now. You know what I mean? Like I would not
Yes,
have
thank
thought
you.
that before, but yeah, you look great, and I like the long hair, man. That's a good look.
I do too. I'm taking advantage of being unemployed.
Totally. Yeah. So I was wondering about also, I'm so sorry. My boss hasn't come into the actual studio on a Monday in, I don't know, 2 years?
Ever, and they had to pick
No.
today.
Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And right when
I
she
get
came in,
it.
she was like, okay, so are you gonna do the Thanksgiving post this year? Are you gonna do like because I do social media and I'm
Mhm.
with my gym bag by the door and I'm like, uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. I'm totally gonna do that. I'm totally gonna and finally I was like, hey, I have an interview and I know it's for the podcast and not the studio, but I gotta go. So, anyways.
I mean, surely, like, the podcast is like a crossover marketing for the
So,
studio.
it's not really for the studio, but she in particular is really cool with it. She's the boss
Okay.
that I've worked with. She's the one that hired me when I had 19 days off heroin that I emailed right before I went into the doghouse. That's how I met her. I emailed her, moved into the doghouse, came back 2 weeks later and emailed her again and was like, "Hey, I'm sorry I missed our interview. Would you be willing to talk to me again?" And she said, "Sure." She hired me 11 years later. She's still my business partner.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
That's also just a good sentence you don't get to say very often. She emailed me right before I went to the doghouse.
Right.
And
Totally.
you don't mean it in the marriage metaphor
No, and I
sense.
don't
You
mean it in
mean
yeah.
the literal
I mean an
doghouse.
actual doghouse. So, you look like you're at home, though. Are you at home?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I am, but no. So the layout right now, I'm in sober living, and part of whatever, like, living amends and changing things is I'm trying to make sure I do everything, like, while she's at work and stuff so that I'm not impeding on family time. But
Okay,
no,
okay.
still, I think at the very least, I said 90 days, but really, yeah, it doesn't hurt to be in sober living
Nope.
longer.
I did a
And I
stupid
thank God
year.
I got in like a no bullshit house, which was
Okay.
part of my, like, everybody there is adult and works. And dude, my new roommate, dude, tell me this isn't the lottery. My new roommate is a boat captain who works 21 days in a row, bro. So
So you're
yes.
basically alone. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's the best.
That's the lottery of
Gotta love it.
roommates. My last treatment center was real long term, right? And when I first got there, the girl that I was with, she had just gotten her kids back because it was for women and children. They just let me stay there because I knew like the program director. And she had just gotten her kids back, or she'd just gotten visitation with them. And so every single weekend, she left on Thursday to go stay at her mom's house, which is where her kids were, to do a weekend with them and didn't come back till Monday. So I was alone Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. And then within a month, she started getting overnights with her husband. So she got to leave like Tuesday. So she was there like one night out of the week. It
That's
was amazing.
it's the best.
It was
It's the
perfect.
best.
It was perfect. Yeah. Well, I definitely want to hear about all of that. And you said that you're good to talk about everything.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Okay.
I no
Okay.
longer have to lie. That's cool.
Which is really, really cool. You know,
Fuck,
like,
it really is.
yeah, when you're having to, oh, Anthony, stop. Anthony, stop, stop. We fostered a dog. Anthony, do you want to come up here? Okay.
Dogs with human names are
Do
the
you want to say hi
funniest,
to
man.
Jed?
Anthony. Oh my
Isn't
god,
he
dude.
cute?
Yes, dude.
We rescued him from Mexico, and he's the sweetest little guy. Are you okay? Can you
Bless
sit down?
his genetically.
Don't say that! Don't say that! Don't say that! He's fine. Anthony,
he
get your foot off the hook. Okay.
Gosh, dude, those dogs
He's
are so
fine.
funny.
So
Yes.
Tank actually has a lot of health issues, the other pug. This guy seems to be okay so far, probably because he was raised in Mexico. So
Yeah,
he had like, you know, a tougher life, obviously.
he
And
did.
my
He's
and And when we first got him, I wasn't sure if we were gonna keep him, but Skylar really wanted to, and I said that to my brother, and my brother was like, "Of course Skylar wants to keep him. They both survived the streets of Mexico. They already have a bond."
That's great.
I know. And I'm like,
That
"That's
is
so
great.
true." Yeah. But so yeah, if you're good to talk about everything, you no longer have to
Yeah,
lie.
for sure.
Dude, having to lie about that kind of stuff, especially when you work in treatment, is really hard. It just eats away at your soul.
Well, it's a death sentence. I mean, it's a, yeah,
Yes,
so, because
yes.
of course, when you're in treatment, all you do is, like, sit there and reflect on what went wrong, and for sure, the biggest thing was, I mean, I went to treatment 2 years ago and really thought this was, I remember having a conversation with my exit session with my therapist, and she was like, "Hey, you should do IOP." And I was like, "I have to run an IOP, so I can't go to IOP." That sentence alone should have been a big ol' red flag. Like, the idea that I thought I would just be able to roll right back into it like nothing happened, which is basically what I did.
Yeah.
Because when I got back, I quickly learned that I couldn't, whenever I say I couldn't on this, I chose, obviously, but I felt as if I couldn't go to meetings because I couldn't pick up chips and I
Sure.
couldn't really share.
Sure.
And that was when I learned to turn the phrase like my sobriety date is into I've been in recovery since.
Okay.
And that
Yeah.
was,
Okay.
it's technically true,
It's
you know,
true, but I'm sure it
but it's a
bother
lie. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because
It's
every
well,
now and then a client would directly ask me, like, "How long have you been sober?" And I'd be like, "Well, I've been in recovery since 2014, because that was when my original sobriety date was."
did anybody ever pick at that thread or did they just accept
Nope.
it?
No, they just accepted it. And I mean, it was the reason I did it, but maybe I did it, whatever. I finally like posted an episode that just straight up said like I relapse. That was the title. And I, this time around, I saw one of my old clients at a meeting, and he was like, "That's how a couple of us found out." And we were like, "No way." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I forget that like this is a
Right.
very public thing." But that was kind of
Yeah.
the reason I did that, was because like I didn't want to have to.
Lie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it eats away at you internally, and, like, we can have the justifications, and I will actually give you that you've been in recovery since 2014. I don't think that that was a lie. However, what matters is how you feel about it, the person internally. Like, I have this friend who we got sober around the same time, but she didn't do any meetings or anything. Her liver she almost died, and she was a client of mine at the studio, and her husband drank. They were really big partiers. She was in like the band scene out here. And when I met her, she had like 3 years and she had never drank again and didn't change anything about her life though. No meetings or anything. And I remember thinking like, damn, okay. And like a few years later, they had a party for him out in Palm Springs and I spoke to her and she said that she had done whippets. And I was like, "Oh," and I didn't say anything to her about like, because for us that would be using. But because she's not in recovery, she didn't think of it that way, and so she still now has 11 years. She never drank or did drugs again, and because she's not a recovery person, to her, doing that whip, it didn't throw off her time. So, like, I think a lot of what matters is what you feel inside, because to her, it would be like if one of us, I don't even know, maybe smoked a cigarette again. It was like that level of just so nothing, you know? And so for her, that was her truth. I hate the phrase her truth, my truth, your truth, but it's true.
Me
It makes
too. But it's
sense.
true.
It's true.
A-
Yeah. And your
a-
truth was not that.
And if I'm honest, the dishonesty was the big mistake. The other was, and I really at that point I was okay. I said I was okay with it. Like I was like I don't really feel guilt about it, but trying to just be sober, and the only recovery thing I did was there was one men's book study with my sponsor that I had had forever. We'd all had the same sponsor forever, and that was pretty much all any of us did at that point, because we all had some time and it was kind of like just maintenance, and it really just turned into us getting together and kind of bitching. And our patriarch, basically, he ended up going back out after 15 years, and that just like devastated all of us, because we were just like, "Oh shit, this was all we were really doing." So now it was just like I wasn't gonna get another sponsor because I didn't fucking the other and then making the decision to start ketamine therapy was also the wrong move. That
Okay,
was
alright. Let me set up just for the audience too. So the last time we spoke about the bigger relapse recently when you took the Vivitrol too early or the Suboxone too early,
yes,
and then you had to run into
yes.
the emergency room, and so when you and I spoke, I think you did say then too, I think I said, "How long have you been sober?" And you said, like, "A few months." You said, like, something like that, but you were still working at the treatment center. You were at home. Georgia believed that you were sober, and that's where we left you. Had a job, living at home, and I had a feeling that the last time we spoke, I thought maybe you had been taking, like, Adderall or something, and you, like, dropped a vape or something, and then you admitted to me personally
No,
later that,
I
yes, I
couldn't
was.
stop, I couldn't stop, like, I don't
Like,
remember what I
looking
was
around or
twitch
and
yeah,
it
I
wasn't that
could not
bad.
stand
It's
still.
just because I know you, and so I was
I
kind of like,
know.
"Huh," and even then I wasn't sure. I just was like,
Right.
"Huh," and I remember telling Skylar, I was like, "Jet seemed a little off," and then later at some point, you and I spoke. I actually called you because I thought Skylar had relapsed, which he hadn't, but I called you freaking out, and then in that conversation, I think I said that, and you were like, "Well, I am struggling a little bit," whatever. So, can you walk us through, like, what started to happen from there?
Yeah, so, yeah, I did the Vivitrol, and the one and I don't know if I told this part or not, but and it's such a random ass chemical, but some people out there might whatever. While I was using, I had ordered some baclofen again from India. Did I tell you this part already?
No, I have no idea what that
Okay,
is.
right. It's, like, inconsequential. Well, whatever, not really.
Well, I wanna know what it is.
Oh, yeah, so so you've heard of phenobut? Have you ever heard of that? Or, I mean, GHB and
Yes.
gabapentin, surely. Okay.
Yes,
So,
yes.
gabapentinoids are this cluster of drugs, and they work on, like, your GABA B receptor. It basically for some people, it's not, I guess it's for certain people's chemistry, but it puts me into like a super hypomanic state of like bad news. But for me, it was like that's how I want to feel all the time. I had ordered it and sort of forgot about it because it took like 8 weeks to get there. And it was, I think, like 2 weeks, a few weeks before my daughter was born that God, I don't even like saying that it showed up. And so I used to be prescribed it. I shouldn't have been prescribed it. There's a lot of things that I've been prescribed and I justified that way. And I sort of knew I had kind of just accepted that this was like my own version of like MAT therapy. It's like I just stuck with the dose. I could play with the dose a little bit to feel a little bit better for that day. And every time I took it, I wasn't high per se, but I was high. So I did all the Vivitrol stuff, and this showed up right around that same time, and I just started taking a daily dose, and there was a very long honeymoon period at first. I mean, for like fucking 4 months, where I was just like, "This is great," and I was able. It really like, I mean, honestly, truly helped me to kind of show up, be present, be like helpful. I mean, I was just manic, but like the good kind of manic, if that makes sense, where it was just like,
Productive and happy?
yeah, I'm in a
Yeah.
really happy mood. And what always happens to me, so with this group of chemicals, they are physically addictive and the withdrawal from them is fucking horrendous. And I'm done when I start taking something that I become physically dependent on because then all I do is obsess about how am I going to get off of it? Because I'm going to have to block out time. Am I going to tell people I have COVID? What am I going to tell my partner? What am I going to do this? Because I'm going to have to withdrawal eventually. I can't just, and then I just kind of put it out of my mind because I was like, well, it's still working. And then eventually tolerance sets in like it always does. And then I go back to that Indian pharmacy and I hit the drop down menu and I'm like, what else do they have? And let me add this. And so that's how I found modafinil. And because I was like, I need energy. And I get obsessed with like supplements. And it's like I would just push the edge closer and closer and closer to drugs, but it's like not quite, I'm like, oh, I'll take some ashwagandha and I'll take some God, what was the one I don't even remember. It was some other root that was like, oh, Rhodelia. Yeah, Rhodelia rosea. And I was like, this is kind of nice. And it's like, cool. And then I become like obsessive with it and I have to like have my doses. And if I don't have it, I'm screwed. And then I graduated to modafinil, which is a non-narcotic wakefulness agent. It's for narcolepsy. It's, whatever. It's speed, but it works in a different way. And I was like, cool, this is fine. And then I was like, oh, they have Lyrica on this website, which is, graduated gabapentin. And I got that. And I was like, okay, so now I'm on baclofen, Lyrica, and modafinil. And then I was like, well, I mean, fucking, I might as well just take Adderall if I'm doing this. And that's always when really things go downhill. And I just kept adding to the list. And I think there was one weekend that that was it. I'd stopped Vivitrol. I did that for a year. I did it for 11 months and didn't do opiates. It worked. Go figure. But then I became obsessed with this. My obsession with my mood is always the through line. And I was like, I think this is like stopping my endogenous endorphins, and I'm depressed because I'm on Vivitrol. So I don't think I told my partner that I quit taking it, or maybe I told her like a month after or something. I don't remember that exactly, but there was one weekend I played with tianeptine and kratom again, and literally I was like, I can't do that. And I called a buddy and got Suboxone again, and then I got the Sublocade shot again. Once again, sort of, I told her, and it's like, God, telling her like, "Hey, I'm thinking," like, she was with me for the 6 months that I like went through post acutes and withdrawals from getting off of it, and like I never want to do that again. And then here I am again, like, "Hey, I think I'm going to take Sublocade," and her having to just be like, "Oh, are you fucking dumb?" And like, "No, but I really think this is da 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 da." And so then I'm adding Sublocade, and it gets to the point, and these were with the Adderall and the Sublocade, these were things that she found out. I never confessed on the front end. And I had my reasons. I had this story in my head that I was telling myself, like, you're the single breadwinner, like, she's not working, she's taking care of the kids. You have your job, I'm in college, like, I don't have the time to get sober. And I'm telling my therapist, like, hey, these are the chemicals I'm taking right now, but I was pretty regimented about the dose. It was just kind of like, okay, I guess that's just what I'm doing right now. And that's just kind of what I rocked with. And especially with the things like Lyrica and Baclofen and Adderall, the decisions I started making, basically being hypomanic, spending money, just the decisions I was making was so impaired, but I didn't seem impaired and I didn't think I was impaired. So I called it like the delusions of sobriety, where it's like I wasn't that fucked up, but I was, and my decision making was so bad. And I remember the irony of this stuff too is that a lot of these things I found out because of working in treatment. And so I'm kind of up to date on the cutting
Right.
edge of like what
Right.
people are doing.
Right.
And I remember hearing that like everyone's buying drugs on Telegram now, or like WhatsApp or Signal, that like that's the new frontier of drug dealing. And I'd gotten all tweaked out on Adderall, and my thing was like, "Oh, my dose isn't high enough, so I'm gonna buy some Adderall from the internet to supplement my dose because
So
that makes."
you had gotten an actual prescription, and then you were gonna
I got an
supplement.
actual prescription.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, okay.
But he started me on like 10 milligrams. Like, come
Right,
on, doc, that ain't
right,
gonna fly. That
right.
was just enough to really just be like, ugh, this pisses me off.
What did the therapist say when the one that you were honest with all the chemicals about?
Like, okay, like, not like she knew it was a bad idea. We used to work, we were kind of friends. I would have listened to her, but it was kind of like there wasn't much she could do. It was too late. Yeah. So I think it was kind of more like, okay, let's switch into like consequence management and like harm reduction. And
I would have done the same thing with you. I would have tried to keep your mindset at like my friend that did whippets but didn't know. I would have tried to keep your mindset at, okay, you are not shooting heroin. You are not smoking crack. Let's keep this where I would have done probably exactly what she did, which is what I was thinking just now, which I think is what I did do as your friend also when we spoke.
yeah,
I was kind of like,
yeah.
okay, all right, okay, all right.
Dave too. I remember certain things so vividly. Like I was like in class, Dave called me, and this was right when I got prescribed Adderall. And he was just like, I walked outside to talk on the phone. He was just like, this is like a monumental mistake.
Yeah, he'll be
And
honest.
yeah, and I was just
Yeah,
like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, it was like, well, too late, I
yeah,
kind of,
mhm, yeah.
and, kind of what my therapist said, and it was kind of true, was at that time, most of my like cognitive dissonance was coming with just like wrestling with like, how do I get off of it? So she was pretty much just like, you're on it, just put it away for now and just deal with it when you can.
That's how I would have counseled you also.
Yeah. So that's what we did. And then when I stopped seeing her and when I stopped seeing my sponsor because he had went back out. So like once again, more of the accountabilities just eroded away. And there was like a few things that I was asked to speak for the Dopey speaker one night, being on Dopey. I mean, everything I was on podcast wise, like I was still high. That's the fucking I mean, I was at the very least, I was on, like, baclofen and Lyrica, and I didn't ask people because I didn't want your opinion anymore. I was like, "This is just what I'm doing." I don't even remember, like, how I found this, but, like, I went on Reddit one day and, like, tried to find someone on Telegram and, like, blah, 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 eventually found this person who sold me some Adderall. It comes in the mail and I get it and I was like, it was Adderall. And then I like tasted it and I was like, that's not Adderall. It was like super bitter. So he had like two for sale and one of them was like amphetamine paste, which is like so I knew they were pressed, but he sold some that were amphetamine paste and some that had point 0.5 meth in them. So I was like, but it's point 0.5? Like, it's like, yeah. I was like, all right, like that's fine. It's the same. What's the difference? In my mind, I'm like, it's just whatever. So then I just started literally taking like 500 milligrams of meth a day. In addition to at that point, I was on 90 milligrams of dextroamphetamine, like the straight dextro. I always twist his arm to get the good shit. I was like, I don't
Were you
fuck Adderall.
swallowing or snorting?
Yeah, no, I was
Just
swallowing.
eating. Okay, alright.
Yes, I was
Okay.
swallowing.
Okay, okay.
I was. I maybe snorted a little bit every now and then, but
Primarily just swallow. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And so when the meth enters the system, that is when whatever darkness is linked up to that, like then I start going like criminal and devious and then my world was just kind of opened to this like the new version of the dark web and like my life had kind of been set up in a way that I was alone in my little office from like 9 p.m. until like 3 in the morning. And I like legit developed a relationship. I found my way to this dealer forum, whatever you want to call it, on Signal. They all call me Pops because like they're all 20 years old and they're like, how old are you? I was like 38. They're like, God, you're old as shit. So they just called me Pops. And I kind of like developed relationships with these people. It's so bizarre. Everyone that's done drugs, I guess that's kind of part of it, as I guess we're all dealing with like isolation and loneliness. And I found this weird community that like I became a part of and just kind of finding out all this shit that I could just order. I mean, I ended up buying a pound of weed. I don't even smoke weed. I don't like weed. It turned on me a long time ago, and
Right.
a pound of weed shows up at my house one day, and I was like, "Oh, fuck. Like, what am I gonna do with this?"
What did you do with it?
Brought it to my friend's house. I was just like, "What? I don't know what to do with
Did
this,
you
dude."
just give it to him or sell it to him?
No, I was like, "Can you sell this for me?"
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's just so stupid, dude. So stupid.
So, do you and Georgia not share bank accounts?
No.
Okay. Y'all are married or no? Or no,
No,
not
no,
oh,
no.
okay, okay, okay.
Mm-mm. I started drop shipping, drug dealing. I'll call it what it is. But it was like, so I had this one guy,
Chad,
and
you're
I'm in
so
this forum.
smart. You're so smart. You just have to use your powers for good, not evil.
I know, and it's
Because everything you're saying is actually really smart.
right.
It's in this world, so, like, whatever, it's not ideal or moral or ethical or good for you in your life, but everything you're saying like, I can't believe you figured out how to drop ship drugs. I can't even figure out a good way to drop ship T-shirts for chasing heroin. So,
Dude,
like
I know. Well, and so that's the fucked up part of it, but you'll understand, and probably some listeners will understand, was that, like, it scratched an itch I forgot I had, where it was like, this was kind of exciting, and it was really like, and I in no way, like, I always have to make clear, like, how much this devastated my life, my partner, and potentially my child. Like, this was so fucked up.
Well, and your self-esteem too. Your self-esteem too,
Yeah.
you know?
And it was like realizing that, like, I had gotten resentful at my, going to work, hating my job, and it was like, oh, but at night I was like this like different person, and like, oh, I forgot this is kind of exciting, and that addict shit that is just, it's kind of fun. It's the most fucked up. That's the demonic whatever's
Yeah.
inside. It's like, oh yeah,
Well,
this is kind of fun.
and it could be like this was in the drug world, and so it's incredibly consequential. But there are plenty of people, not even just addicts, that have some texting affair with someone they're not supposed to be talking to, or they're gambling, or they're eating, or they are having a real affair. The dopamine that we get from that is real. And so, like, yes, I don't want you to come down on yourself too hard for like you've got this awful weird thing, this darkness inside of you. We all do. You just accidentally, you're not accidentally, you ran into it again. You know what I mean? And it was really consequential. So,
There's people in my life that don't and this is the quote out of the book. It's like, beneath our seeming worldliness and levity is like a deadly earnestness. And like, it's all like, I talk about it like flippantly, but it's like, holy fuck. Because at the same time, I'm working as a fucking counselor. Okay. I had to at some point just completely compartmentalize that. But I really was unable to, because it's like when I tell you, I mean, I couldn't be present because of just the, like, oh my god, the hole I was but at first I was making money, a little bit of money. So the roundabout to the bank account, it was paying for itself at first. Like, I would just do the classic sell enough to get what I wanted. And ironically, then at some point, a client came in on his phone, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, this crypto online casino." And I was like, "What's that?" Yeah. And I think 2 days later, I won like 3 grand on it. And I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. Yeah, classic. So slot machines and methamphetamine have a torrid love affair. Okay. And having it on my phone, okay, was like a whole nother level of, you are so fucked. And these online casinos, absolutely, I have like shared experience now, absolutely hook you bad by letting you win. I mean, dude, I was up a significant amount of money.
oh, you think initially intentionally they allow
Not
that
even
to go
think. I
through?
mean,
Okay.
yes, it is mine and a couple other buddies' experience with this specific place that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
And yeah,
I'm such a drug addict. I want to know the place because I'm telling myself right now, I'll just get
I'm
the three
not
grand
not
and stop.
ain't gonna say it. Ain't gonna say it. Yeah, dude. But and once again, I mean, this happened before. This happened before, but it was in-person slot machines. I, no shit, gave myself a chronic thumb injury from
I
tapping.
have that, but
Okay.
from Instagram and TikTok, from being a
Yes, dude,
social
it
media bitch.
hurts, man.
Yes, I
It
know.
still
I
hurts,
gotta.
dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, also, when is all this happening? What's the time frame on this? So, you and I are sitting here in November. When is all this happening?
God, this was so recent. This was, I think the gambling started in April.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Maybe. Oh yeah, because my last Sublocade was March. So yeah, March or April. And that was what sealed the deal. And then also, so I was doing ketamine therapy. So that was the other thing. So the standard protocol is, I think, 2 months. Okay. I did that for 2 years. I was just like, let's keep going. This is awesome.
So, you've been doing it since I've known you.
Yes.
Okay.
Once a
Okay.
week, I would
Okay.
just go, and I started microdosing mushrooms. Dude, I was tripping my balls off in a doctor's office every Tuesday morning. And eventually, because of this dark web stuff, I was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna buy an ounce of ketamine," like, logically. So, pretty much every night, and the other thing I was doing was somas. So, I was just unbelievably gacked out during the day, and at night, I would put myself out with soma and ketamine every night. And also, with the gambling came and the dark web came, like, the research chemical benzos, which is where it all falls apart, okay? Bromazolam in particular, because it is, and to anyone listening, bromazolam is the fucking devil. It's way too long lasting, and talk about delusions of sobriety while you're blacked out. It's just like that was when I started waking up negative thousands of dollars and
Oh
not
my
knowing what
gosh. Oh
happened.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
And then that was why I bought a pound of wheat. Like things like I was like, "Oh my god, the mistakes I was making on that shit." And within 4 months, I was so far in the hole that it was no longer avoidable. And so I remember it being, basically I was super negative in the hole, and we have a positive genius for getting tight at exactly the wrong time, but it was a birthday weekend, and that Friday I hit for 3,500 bucks. So I went from like, "Hey, we can't eat out," to I was like, "Let's go spend all the money everywhere." And she was basically like, "I don't know what is going on, but I know something is going on." And she had previously caught me buying the Adderall online, and it's like I had these chances to get honest, and I would get honest about with 25% of it or 50% of it, but protect making sure that my supply and addiction was protected. I mean, this is what I know was going on now. So I told her in that moment, it was like, you can really double, triple down, or you can just admit it. And I admitted that I was gambling, and she was like, well, stop. And I was like, I can't, that I need to go somewhere. And then the next day, I admitted a little more and a little more and got into treatment. While I was at treatment, she found out more that I had either forgotten or didn't get completely honest about. And that was when it was like, I don't know if we're going to be together. You cannot come home. Like, this is really bad. This is really serious. And at that treatment center, I had snuck in a bunch of pills like I always do, because I do my own detox at rehab. And then one of the nurses there ended up just keeping me loaded on baclofen and gabapentin the whole fucking time I was there. And then basically like 4 weeks went by, and the day I was leaving, I was like, I'm not sober. I haven't fucked up a rehab like that since I was in my 20s. So it was like, oh my God. But I was still so twisted that I just thought it didn't work. And I was like, I don't understand why nothing's getting better. I moved into a sober living house I hated. And then I ended up going back to my doctor. I told him that I just got out of rehab, and he was like, cool. So you need a refill on your Adderall and Xanax? And I was like, yep, I do. Took that, got kicked out of the halfway house. I mean, just an absolute nightmare. Had to tell my partner that everything, like, hey, I got to go to treatment again. Nightmare. Just a month of just absolute nightmare. Got kicked out of a halfway house, like just terrible. Went to a
Yeah.
one treatment center for a day,
Oh,
left.
shit. Okay. Do you have insurance that's paying for all this through work? How are you paying
So
for all this?
so my parents helped me pay my deductible to get into
Okay.
the first place, but then my deductible was met. So thank God.
So you could go to a second one.
So I could go to a second one.
Okay.
And I tried to sneak my shit into this one, and they found it. So I was like, oh, maybe this is a good place. I went to my little pocket stash, and there was nothing there. And I was like, oh,
Ah!
fuck. Yeah.
Where's the pot in one of your suitcases?
No, it was had these running shorts that had like a phone zipper, some
Okay,
Under
yeah.
Armour that
Okay.
nobody just ever checked.
Interesting. So
They did.
not that hard to find, but you gotta
No,
really
not
be
that
going
hard to
through
find.
every article of someone's clothing to find it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
And it was there that I got sober again, and I remember getting like, it was just, I woke up and I was like, oh, yeah, it's me. I called my sponsor a week or two into it, and he was like, holy shit, you sound clear. And I was like, oh, Well, that's good. And it wasn't so this the hard thing in my past, the pattern of being young, relapsing, going to rehab, moving to a new city, getting out, hanging with the boys, just doing sobriety, it was fun. This was going back and dealing with the shit that you absolutely destroyed. And it's nothing but responsibility, and it's nothing but proving and earning back trust, and stuff is not it's not that, and it's been different, but it's been good. And basically going on, like, the reason I avoided going to treatment locally was because of this. It was like I had to go on just a humility tour. Oh, one of the techs was a former client. I mean, it was just like, okay,
Right.
seeing everyone at local meetings, and like, being like, how are you doing? And dude, this treatment center, they give you like fucking GPS bracelets you have to wear, and
Oh,
that's how they
wow.
like. Oh yeah,
That's
so
a
it's
really
very
good idea,
obvious.
though.
It is a
That's a
really good
really good
idea.
idea.
It's a
You
super
know,
good
the
idea.
one of the only ways I was willing to let Skylar come back is if we had Life 360 on the phones and it's not glitching like when he was using before. It's so weird that the app is glitching every fucking day, but like I knew it
Right,
wasn't. You know what I mean? And when he
right.
came back, I was like, if there's you better hope there's not actually some sort of weird Life 360 glitch because if it ever glitches, we're done. But the location thing actually like really helps. First of all, thank you for sharing all of this. Thank you for sharing so openly. I'm really proud of you, and I'm honored that I was a part of even just the text with you and Dave and Suki and me just checking in with us. Like, I'm really honored I was a part of that, and I'm always going to be that for you, and I'm glad that I was hearing from you during that time, and I really appreciate you sharing all of this right now.
Yeah, and thank you for being. And this is what I told someone the other day, especially if you're in a situation like sober living or drug court or something that where getting honest has consequences, you must have an objective third party that you
Yes.
can. If I couldn't have been honest with anyone,
Right.
it's just,
Yeah, my
I
my
mean,
mom, thank God, I've actually always had my mom for that because I never lived with
that's
her. She
awesome.
doesn't give me any money. And so like, there was no codependent relationship where I needed support from her in any way other than emotional and like her love, right? And so I would be in a program and relapse and I can't get kicked out of the program because I'm homeless, but when I would see her for like our weekend lunch and she would say, "So, how's it going?" I would tell her it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, but, I did slip up on Tuesday, so I have 6 days. I don't have, 70, but obviously I can't tell them. And she'd be like, "Okay, okay, thanks for telling me." I could always tell her and my sponsor, actually, my sponsor, Rachel, who was no longer she had to kick me out of the first program because she worked there. But then after that yeah, after that, I was always able to tell her, and so I agree with that. As long as you can tell, somebody.
Someone,
Yeah. What was
someone.
day 1? So what's day 1 for you right now? When did you go back into the second?
9/19. 9/18 was when I went in, but I was high, so
Okay.
9/19.
Okay, okay. Do you have to detox that stuff? All the things you just listed?
Also in that month was when I tried 7-OH for the first
Oh,
time. The
lord,
thank
okay.
and thank God I didn't try it sooner.
Yeah.
That was the gnarliest, nastiest shit. Hands down. So bad. I mean, I did.
Worse than regular kratom.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've heard that.
By orders of magnitude.
Right, okay,
I mean,
okay.
granted, I was doing obscene amounts, but still, my buddies that weren't doing obscene amounts, I mean, it was just and it's just like the older, I mean, I'm not 20 anymore. The kindling effect is a real thing where like a lifetime of like benzo or opiate or alcohol use. I mean, I did 7-OH for 2 days and had a 7-day detox just from that.
What is the kindling effect? What is that?
So it's like if you do a substance like benzos or opiates for a lifetime, it's like small amounts just kind of build up. I mean, not in a literal sense, but this is just what it's called. I guess it's like your neuronal pathway is just used to it. And so it only takes smaller and smaller amounts to produce worse and worse dependence and withdrawal. So no matter how long you stay off of it,
Wow.
if you return to it, it's gonna be shorter and more intense.
Okay. So, like, if Dave did a benzo for 2 days, he might have to kick him after 20 years of doing benzos.
Or it would be it would yeah, it would be a whereas if my mom did benzos for 2 days, she wouldn't notice, yeah, but if someone like that did it for 2 days, you would at least have, like, 2 bad days, like, there's just absolutely no more chemical-free lunch, like
Okay. That's good for people to know, Nod Pod.
yep.
Take it in.
Yeah, and I mean, things like I mean, yeah, like, just coming off of I mean, I'd been on Lyrica and gabapentin and baclofen for
Yeah.
2 years, and so
Yeah.
that was dude, my skin was on fire for
Oh, Jen.
a solid 3 weeks. I mean, just the bounce back, and the bigger consequence and I talked to my sponsor who had gone out too. 2 takeaways from that. 1, he had said, "You can choose when you go back out, but you just cannot choose when you come back in." And that was so true. And then number 2, the spiritual shake back, so much more difficult, I guess I'll say. It just was not there was no, like, instant pink cloud, there was no, like I mean, there was, like, some of, like, yeah, I feel like myself, but, like, getting the spiritual connection back just took some serious work, is taking some serious work, and it just may be just for me, I have believed that one of the spiritual lessons I'm being taught over the past few years, few months is that the things given to me I take for granted and I easily give away. And the things that I've had to bust my ass for, I am much more hesitant to give away. And my counselor this time, I've had him this is my second time with him as a counselor, and I used to live in an Oxford house with him, I mean, 20 something years ago. So he knows me and he did not fucking let off the gas. He basically told me just like, "Hey, you need to grow the fuck up." And I was like, okay. I don't wanna." Yeah, he had said, "Once you now that you have recovery again, you need to cherish it." And he's like, "You need to protect it, you need to guard it, and you need to cherish it." And that was yeah, that was really something that I hadn't grown to resent it. Quite the opposite of cherry. I
Okay.
was so,
Okay.
like
I think that's how Skylar felt. It's interesting that you say that. I think he resented it too. You know, y'all's stories are real similar. He started using very early also. And I think he resented, like, when we owned the studio and he had all of these adult responsibilities. He had this wife that had a bunch of clean time. And he was supposed to be this sober guy, but he was, like, snorting a pill here and there over the years, but he's supposed to be got years of sobriety, and he's got this wife with a show and doing and I think he also resented recovery in general. I think he did too, actually.
I wasn't sober enough to get the benefits of
Sure.
recovery, and I wasn't
So you're just
near and
dry going
just
places.
dry,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
And so when, like, I found things that would just blot it out, it was like,
yeah.
just for the moments of like, oh, what got me back into treatment, I wasn't even gonna go, but I went to this new therapist who I'd never met. I was gonna skip it because it was a long drive and I was detoxing, but I was like, whatever, I'll go. And I went into her office, and this was like day 3 of trying to white knuckle no 70H. And I was like, what's so hard is how good it feels to give in. And it's a completely different voice of myself that is just like demanding that I drive to the store. And when I finally just say like fucking okay, like we'll go, it's the like the biggest relief. And she she was like, "Okay, we should I'm going to call this treatment center." I was like, "Okay." Yeah, and I got the same relief getting into treatment too when I was finally like, "Okay, I fucking give up." That is just something that if you're not someone that suffers with addiction, you will just never understand how strong. I mean, it's I don't know if people can really understand what it is like to not want to do something with every ounce of your being and then watch yourself go do it. And there's not a fucking thing that you can do.
Yeah.
There's it and you can kick the can at best, but it's just like
Yeah.
I
It's
know
coming.
in the back of my head it's coming. There's no way I cannot do this.
So a little over 60 days right now. Did you lose you mentioned you're unemployed, so what happened at work?
Yeah, so I reported myself to my licensing board. Haven't heard back yet, but I'm fairly certain I did everything they're going to ask me to do, and it'll be like a suspension period, which I need to take a break anyway. So it was, it was. I understand. Like it wasn't like. I mean, I told my boss I was going to treatment, so it was. I have some amends to make with some people involved with my work that don't understand addiction directly, but they were not happy to find out, which I understand, and I'm gonna own that when I get there. Yeah, I mean, just fully. I mean, literally, I just got a job at Dutch Bros Coffee. Just gonna be a barista again. Ironically, that was my sobriety job back in 2014. It's very funny how all that stuff works out. So, I mean, I'm doing IOP again. I'm in sober living, doing like a meeting a day, working with my sponsor. I'm doing everything that I can again. And it feels good. Like it's been so relieving to find out that like I can be sober again and I can be in recovery and that it's better because when you're in it, the lie, I mean, I really truly was like, there's no way possible that I'm ever gonna be able to get this again because I just feel so bad. And now it's like, I mean, I found some baclofen cleaning out my truck the other day, and it was like, oh God, like the reminders of like, oh no, like yeah, I had to call my sponsor and flush it with him on the phone because I was just like hot flame recoiling.
Where are you at with steps?
I mean, 6 and 7, sorry.
That was fast.
Yeah. Well, I did the last weekend of treatment, I did my fifth step there. So I did, yeah, we did
Okay.
it was a
1, 2,
really
3, 4,
solid.
5. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like they let your sponsor come and meet you there. So yeah. Back in like a men's book study and
Okay, okay.
just like doing all the things I did when I got sober the first time and the things that I stopped doing. And even stuff with like I was telling you with like the podcast and like feeling like I owe a living amends of like, damn, I got off the beam and I don't like being cynical and negative and like I want to be a net positive in people's lives. And because I've said this before also, like my career and my life as a whole would probably be a lot easier if I didn't give a shit, but I do. And I feel like when I get to what's next, I'm going to be faced with the people that were placed in my life to do something with, and I'm going to have to make an account for what I did with those opportunities. I do believe that. So I take it fucking seriously. And so that's why suicide was always such an option because it's like feeling so bad about the things that you yourself are doing and not understanding. Yeah, it's like I wish it wasn't me that did those things, but, like, it was, or it's a part of me.
You are a net positive overall as a person.
Well, thank you.
I mean, you're so smart, you're so funny, you're kind. And what you will bring to the recovery community in whatever way you return to it, now that you have this lived experience of the chemical stuff, like buying the shit online and the shame and the justifications and, you'll be able to bring all of that knowledge. I mean, you're a net positive anyways, but all that's gonna do is just add to your ability to help other people in the future. You are and will be, and you've always been a net positive. I mean,
Thank you. Yeah,
you're a
more
star.
meat for your message, as they say.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and that's
exactly.
and I don't know what it looks like yet, but that is kinda what I'm feeling pulled to is some kind of, like, help for the helpers, therapy for the therapists in some
Oh, I
way.
love that.
'Cause I'm not the only one, I'm not gonna be the only one, this is gonna be a thing, like, in the field, the best ones are the ones that have been through it, but by that nature, it's like, that's also the ones that are most vulnerable. It's fucking tough. Those of you that work in the field, my hat is off to you, that shit is not easy. It's thankless, so I'll thank you, you're doing good. Yeah, take care of yourself.
So where are things at with your relationship?
I'm being given an opportunity to show that I can be trustworthy again. And I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that. So that's just kind of what I'm trying to do, just showing up,
So y'all are together, you're not separated.
Right, right. Together in the commitment sense, but I mean, she's really awesome and she's doing her own work, and I'm really happy that I mean, it's not always like the best for me, but I'm glad that she is understanding that like obviously like there's just work that needs to be done on all sides, and
Yeah,
what's best for our daughter is the most important thing. You know, if that would mean one day that God forbid something happens, that she, like by all means, like do what you have to do to protect my daughter. Like
yeah, totally,
I understand
totally.
that. And I'm pretty and really it's both like encouraging and also like, "Oh, okay, I understand." It's like she hasn't really got to get years of sobriety version of
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
and I forget
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So it's cool that she will get to experience, but it's like I have to keep that in mind and be patient.
yeah. So Skylar now has 2 years,
Ah,
and
that's awesome.
I never got there are like, I'm liking him even more because I never saw years of sobriety from him either. The most he ever got was, like, 14 months or 16 months, and I think even in those times, he probably snorted a pill here and there. I don't know that there's ever been a straight line for him, and what that has built is his personality. I always loved him, obviously, that's why I married him, but, like, he's even funnier now than he was. Like, he's always been such a great man, but he's even better now than he was. Like, it's seeing him stay sober for longer is just opening up this, like, more full version of him, and I loved him anyway, but now I'm like, "Oh," we've been together 8
It's like a
years.
bonus.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh my god, look at you," like, the other day,
Yeah.
we're both doing these we do, like, NAD and supplement shots and stuff, and the other day, he was doing one of his shots, and I looked at him and I was like, "You look so good. You're, like, so hot." He's got these big, like, ripped shoulders, and he was like, "Well, and I know he's thinking, like, "We've been together a long time," and I'm like, "No, I know, but, like, you look
We
even better
appreciate that.
now." You know what I mean? Like, "Fuck, look at you," like, and she'll get to have that too. She'll get that expanded version of you.
Yeah, and it's funny because and, like, really, I will just get frustrated with myself because like, post-acute withdrawal it's like,
Yeah.
I simultaneously feel like it's been forever, and then I like, yesterday, we got in some little argument, and she was like, "It's only been a month," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, since I've been out of treatment." I was like, "Oh,
Totally.
yeah, that's a very
Totally.
good point." 'Cause I'll still go through like, I still get irritated, I get depressed, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, dude, like, it's early, bro."
Yeah, totally. I've said the same thing, because he lost a really good opportunity where he was working, and I have reminded him too, and this is why it's almost kind of good that you're starting in sober living and in a place where you're not working currently and you're working at the coffee place because he came back to this time. He feels so behind sometimes, but I'm like, you came back to a really nice house, a wife with 10 years who has massive expectations of you. We own 2 cars. We have nice stuff in the house. We have a dog. And you went right back to a job on a construction site. The average guy with 30 days after a relapse that you just had is living in sober living. His only responsibilities are playing fucking paintball with his buddies on the weekend. And they work at a
Uh.
coffee shop or at a gas station. And all you do is go to meetings and hang out with the guys from the house, and that's where you're at. That's actually the level that you need to be at because that's where you're at emotionally. That's kind of all you can handle. You have been forced to jump back into this life that we built over the years. And that's why you feel so behind. But think about yourself relative to where you were at 30 days. And it's been a kind of a mind fuck for him to be in that position. And so I'm actually it's good that you're starting at this level because that's what you need right now emotionally.
It's what they talk about, don't get too well too soon. I
Yes,
mean, it's like the
yes,
people that yeah,
totally.
and it's so true because there was like a at first because also I'm like, I'm ridiculously in debt for credit card companies, and so at first I was like, "Oh, I gotta do this," and then it was just like I, like, tried to bulldoze my way in, and then it was like, "No, just chill, dog, like, no, you don't need to do that right now," and, like, credit card companies they'll live.
They'll live. They'll
Fuck
live.
'em.
Dude, yeah, they'll live. You don't wanna wait the 7 years for
Oh,
it to all fall off, but I did.
no.
All my credit stopped when I was, like, 24 or 25, and now I have a 700 credit score again, and I didn't start working on it until very recently. You know what I
It's
mean?
what like, that shit is just whatever,
Yeah,
like,
you've got
who
plenty of
fucking
time.
cares?
You're 38, you're same age as Skylar. You've got plenty of time to rebuild all of this, you know? The one thing I don't know if this would be helpful at all, but like you just mentioned the therapy for the therapist and what this could lead to. You and I are similar in terms of the way that like we think and the way that our minds work, and this may be helpful for you. One of the best ways that helped me get through the shit with Skylar was when I thought the marriage was basically over. I was like, "Okay, what are you gonna say about this in a few years? If you have to tell someone," because my whole life I've been able to look back and pick out the good things that happened. Like, I can pick out the really good things of losing the opportunities at spin studios when I was first getting sober, because it led me to psychology, which I eventually owned. COVID and the business closing, I can totally look back now and say, "Yeah, but even though it closed, this, and this happened, which was really good for me, and it was a benefit." And so this time I was like, "Okay, you know that these challenges, these dark night of the soul moments lead to massive expansion and growth and something you're grateful for on the other side. What if you don't wait for 2 years to figure out what that's going to be? What do you think you'd say if you thought your marriage was over?" And I realized, like, okay, what I would say is I'd become way too dependent on him financially, so it forced me to get my credit better. And so like I kind of thought about the and just make that happen now. So maybe ask yourself, like, what will I tell people in 2 years from now when I'm leading a massive meeting? What will I say? "I'm so grateful for that relapse I had at 38 because XYZ happened." And then you just work on that now.
Two things. I got chills with it because Georgia told me too. She was like, it was at one point before I went to treatment. She was like, one of the things that keeps me going is like, I have this vision of you like at a podium talking about how hard it was at the time, but how worth it it was. And I said in treatment too, I was like, I've done this enough times to totally understand that like, this is about to be a year of like awesome shit. I mean, like hard stuff for sure, but it's always like, I mean, just all of it. I'm just like all of it. Just there's one person too, this dude Rafe that I met at the treatment center I'm at. That's like just a new best friend, and like just things the people I've met, like getting back into the community. That alone would be worth it. Having to be in treatment and get your daughter brought to you, I won't take that for granted again. Much less 2 times in a row within 3 months. It was like, and especially the last time, it was like every weekend she came, she was different, and that was I was really like, "Oh my god,
Like,
like,
because she was
don't."
growing so
Yeah,
fast?
because she was
Oh,
growing. I have the opportunity that she never has to remember any of this,
yes. Yes.
but
Also.
that time is basically over, like, now, so it's like,
Yeah.
those are the things that I was yeah, just understanding what I took for granted,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and that's a daily reminder, I'm still, like, not immune to it, but yeah, those things, like, I'm thankful all of it happened.
Well, dude, it let you not have to live in a fucking lie anymore.
Yes,
You
yes.
can't be at full capacity. So you have so much intellectual potential, right? Like you have so much, like even just like the drop shipping drugs, like you have so much ability to create and manifest something really big. Like you have a high IQ, that's obvious. Like you're creative, you've got an entrepreneurial spirit, you work really hard. Like you've got all of these things that are just like right there. When you are living in some sort of lie or disconnect from your actual life, you can't be present. And dude, I've even dealt with that. Like I'm living in a life where I'm supposed to be showing up and teaching, but I have this like secret thing that I'm also obsessing about all the time. And it prevents me from being the best version of myself. And that was happening with you the whole time. You were
Oh,
living
yeah.
this like half life, this like secret. It makes you live a half life because you've got this other secret brewing. You can't be fully present. And now you can be. So all of this relapse bullshit, it took you out of the lie. It took you out of the lie, and that's gonna open up your life.
Yes. Yeah, that sums it, I mean, for real.
Yeah.
The amount of fucking mental energy that it
Yes.
requires to
Mental
keep that
energy.
shit up,
Yes.
and
Totally.
it's and just soul energy and the I remember, I got really into, lighting farts in rehab.
Oh my god.
That's
Wait,
my
this time? This
it's my
past
hint. Yeah,
time?
this time, and the first time, I did it and belly laughed, I don't know if I had laughed in 2
Yeah.
years, and
Yep.
it was like, "Oh my god." It was like the dam broke. It was like, that is the best feeling in the world, and it became a thing, like, all the people detoxing on night 1 would be like, "Hey, man, come to the back porch, I gotta show you something." And they're just hating their lives, and then I'd just do that, and they'd laugh,
That's
bro, and it was
amazing.
like, yeah, it was.
Laughing your ass off in a rehab is one of the best feelings on earth. We had a morning meeting at my rehab at Choices. We had a morning meeting at 7 a.m. every day, and I would laugh harder than I've ever laughed in my entire life to this day. These fucking dudes on parole that had just gotten there telling these crazy stories, and I would be crying laughing. It's one of the best feelings on earth is to be laughing in rehab with other addicts that are just telling you some dipshit fucking story.
Yep. It's
You
the
know?
best.
It's the fucking
It's
best.
the best.
How do you feel mentally?
Good. I mean, like, good for lack of a better term. Yeah, I really don't like really
You seem the same intellectually,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, oh, I do like my
do you
oh
feel
dude, my
sharp and
yes, my
oh,
word I can
good.
recall words again and like yeah,
Damn,
like
after only 60 days? That's crazy.
oh, well the lyric like that shit makes you so dumb,
Okay.
like bad. And it was literally like my fucking hobby and career were based on speaking. So like it was real bad to like I guess I played it off, but there were so many times I
Yeah, I
just
didn't
could not.
notice.
No, dude, it was bad. My economy of words, like I wouldn't have been able to say that phrase. I'll put
Right.
it that way.
Totally.
It was just like
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
sucked. Yeah, I feel way sharper.
And you might not wanna answer this, and if you don't want to, I'll just cut it out. Do you guys run into any sort of like, when you're on these online sites, is there anything going on with, like, you're talking to other women, or is it just the drug betrayal stuff, money stuff?
No, it was
Okay.
just the drug.
That's how Skylar
Well,
is too, and I'm like,
yeah,
"Okay,
and
that's
and
good."
it was and but I had to admit that that is an affair in and of
Yes,
itself. Like I
absolutely.
understand that, and there's
Absolutely.
no. I can't be mad if you don't trust that. Like I get it, but no, like I'm fiercely loyal in that regard. That was where because I'd be like, all I lied about was doing drugs.
Right.
What's the big deal? Like
Totally.
not understanding that that's everything. Like how the fuck do you know?
Right.
Because I lied to
Right.
you. So
Totally, totally. Yeah.
so I
Even
get it.
Skylar, that's never a thing with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still
Sorry, go ahead.
always wonder a little, you know what I mean, when he comes
Of
back. I'm
course,
like,
I get it.
you know,
Yeah, I get it.
but
It's so like God when I'm no, yeah, just no. It's
same
the
with him.
only
All he cares about is getting high.
getting
That's
high.
it. He's like, Jenny, he's like, I'm not even interested in you. I'm interested in nothing. I'm interested in nothing to do with any of that other than just getting fucking high, which I believe,
Yeah,
you know.
yep. And especially, I'm definitely one too that like once I'm bust, like I'll tell you. Like
Okay.
oh, I have no reason to lie anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And that thing, by the way, I was actually just listening to this interview with Esther Perel, that relationship counselor, and
Oh yeah,
Dax
I have
Shepard
her
interviewed her,
her
and it was
game.
okay. Oh, I want to order that game to do with him. Actually,
Yeah,
Dax Shepard was
Georgia got it
interviewing
for me.
her. Yeah, I want to try it too. And she said something that I thought was so profound, which was she was like, "Okay, the idea of this affair. Okay, we have decided." It's the worst thing. You cannot come back from it. That's the thing that we've decided is that people judge you if you don't leave. It's a really big deal. It's the worst thing. However, the betrayal is no different from the husband who gambles the entire family fortune without telling the wife. It is no different than somebody who is using drugs. The betrayals are the same, and for whatever reason we've made that one just so bad, but they're all the same level of betrayal. And I just thought that that was a really interesting way to look at that. I was like, no, that's actually true. It's the same.
Yeah, it's funny because like I said, it's like I only lied about X, Y, and Z. It's like there's no such thing as only. It's like once there's no trust, there's no trust. It wouldn't matter. Yeah.
So, last like question, because I'm sure you've thought about this. What do you think is under all of this? Because I think what might be helpful is if, and you've probably done this before, some sort of really strong daily spiritual practice like TM meditation or 'Cause it's a spiritual void. All of the stuff, the going online, looking up things, going in the chat room, it's all just dumps of dopamine. That's why when you make the decision to just go, it's just a dump of dopamine. That's why any of us, like, really do anything, and I think as addicts, we have way less dopamine than the average human being, right? I mean, and you know that from being in treatment, and I know there's, like, different there are different theories on this, but I think that we do, I think that there's a definite chemical imbalance there. What do you think is a some sort of practice that could help you avoid this in the future? Like, in terms of, like, your physical body, your spiritual body, do you think that there's a way to avoid this need for an incredible dopamine rush somewhere else? And I'm asking for me too, because I do dumb shit too in this, like, desperate quest for dopamine. What can we do?
I think it is escapism for me at its root. So there's a few parts of it. One part is living a life that I don't feel the need to escape. The other part is being uncomfortable and just being uncomfortable and realizing that I don't have to make a decision based on that. And because that one of the first things that happened when I got out of treatment, all, riding the high, I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, "Oh, this is why I did drugs." I remember because like I feel so fucking uncomfortable right now and I don't like it and I would rather feel something else. And otherwise for me it's like I work out not necessarily because I like it, but I like the effect produced. I am social. I guess it's just making like it may be one of those things that's like you just have to figure out how to channel into healthy things. And I guess they say it takes 2 years to kind of come back to baseline as far as recovering from like using in a relapse and stuff. I do know that this motherfucker
Yeah.
is
The
horrible
worst. It's
for
the
it. It's the
worst.
worst. The
I
phone was what
know.
I held up. And my 30 days without it was so nice. And you like the creative boredom, which is something we lose when we're on our phone. I remember like my mind's eye coming back really well. Yet again, I'm at a place where like I'm looking at it too much, and it really does just. I think for people like us, and it's like being regimented about how much you're on the phone,
I totally
and
agree.
just yeah, it's fucking hard
Yeah.
though.
Also, taking in that much external stuff
It's too
suppresses our
much.
internal signals to ourselves about, like, what to do next, and a lot of my anxiety comes from decision fatigue, and I'm not sure where to
Yes,
go next with my life, and I'm on the phone. I'll be Googling things that I think I could do, but, like, that in
yes,
and of itself is
is
just
bad.
yeah, it's suppressing my internal signals. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
actually tell me what to do next. So I'm trying to not get on the phone for the first hour of the day unless it's to, like, turn on music or a meditation.
that's big.
I'm gonna try. I did it, like, one day last week, and I felt
The
a lot
first
better.
hour and the last.
Yes. I could stay off of it at the end of the day a little better. That's a lie. It's the last thing I do before I go to bed.
Like, not doing it when I'm around my daughter and family, that's the thing too, man, and they'll kinda let you know that, like, "Hey, you're not paying attention to me." They might not say that, but they'll and it's like, "Fuck."
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Dude,
it's
even Tank. Tank was like a few months ago, he was, like, playing with something, and I started to play with him, and then I glanced at my phone for something, and when I looked up, Tank had his little otter stuffed animal in his mouth, and he was just looking at me, and by the
oh,
time I looked up, he was already laying down and just chewing on it himself because he knew when I picked up the phone, and that's
I
my
know.
dog! I felt
I
so bad.
know.
I was, like, almost started crying. I was like, "I'm such a piece of shit mom." So, I mean, yeah, I think it's just always a work in progress, obviously, of trying to figure out these things, but I think you're right, the phone, that's huge, you know?
Yep. It just causes that I mean, it's very similar to online gambling of just, like, these quick hits, and it just makes me discontent, especially with, like, fear of missing out, and, it's just the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm so fucking proud of you. Thank you for sitting down
Thank
with me
you. Yeah,
to
thanks for having me on. I
yeah, to
appreciate
check
it.
in. You're still doing the show every week?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Church and
Mhm.
Other Drugs. Find us on anywhere you listen to podcasts. I'm bad about my socials. I just got to post on mine, jed.i.am, patreon.com/church and other drugs. And yeah, check us out.
Okay. So
I'll
what do you
have you
got
back on soon, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I'd love to come back on. What do you got going on today? What does the rest of the day look like for you?
Putting up a Christmas tree.
Oh,
for the
yay!
family. Yep. So I
That's the
gotta go
best
do that
thing
right
ever.
now.
That's, like, my favorite thing
Absolutely.
ever.
It is super fun.
Yeah.
It is
Okay.
super fun.
Well, thank you so, so much. I'm glad that you're back with us, you know?
Yes, me too. It's good to be back. Love y'all. Love you.
Love you, dude.